Video is over textbook pages 34 through 37. For this problem, it says Earth is about that large, and we want to write this number in scientific notation. When writing numbers in scientific notation, we start with our decimal point, and with a whole number, it starts here at the back. We want to move it until it is behind the first number, which is a 5. So to do that, we have to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 times. So when we write our answer, we keep the 5.974. We keep that decimal point as part of our answer. We always write times 10, and the 24 becomes our exponent. For number 20, we're going to take the information in the table and we're going to write each number in scientific notation. So starting with mercury, we move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And so when we write our answer, we write it as 3.63 times 10 to the 7th power. For Mars, we move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and we write our answer as 1.42 times 10 to the 8th power. For Neptune, we move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and so we write our answer as 2.8 times 10 to the 9th power. And for the last number, Pluto, we move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times as well. And we write our answer as 3.67 times 10 to the 9th power. Now for the last part of the problem, it's talking about comparing Neptune and Mars. Because the question asks, Neptune is about how many times as far from the sun as Mars is from the sun. So we take our Neptune number, 2.8 times 10 to the 9th. How many times, when it asks that question, it's a division question. How many times greater, how many times as far, how many times larger? Those are all going to be division problems. And we're dividing it by Mars. And so Mars is 1.42 times 10 to the 8th. So if we were to divide our numbers, 2.8 divided by 1.42, you end up with a big long decimal, but because we do have the word about means to estimate, we're going to approximate, our answer is about 2. Now, when we are dividing, we know that we subtract our exponents. And so if we subtract 9 minus 8, we get 1. And so 2 times 10 to the first power, we can move that decimal one place, which means my answer would be 20 times larger. "20 times as far from the sun." We divide our numbers, we subtract our exponents. For number 21, it asks which is the equivalent of 8.03 times 10 to the negative 8th. Now remember, when we have a negative exponent, that means that we're going to have a small number, which means our decimal point moves forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And we would fill in all of those place values with zeros. Our correct answer would be letter C, 0.000000803. It says that Eva chose D as the correct answer. How did she get that answer? We're going to restate our question. Eva got D as the correct answer by moving the decimal to the right. She moved it the wrong direction. But because the exponent is negative, the decimal should be moved to the left. Number 1, which of the following expressions is equivalent to 5,710,900? We start by moving the decimal point, which is at the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And we write our answer as 5.7109 times 10 to the 6th power. Letter D is our correct answer. For number 2, it says the average distance from Pluto to the Sun is about 6 times 10 to the 9th kilometers. The average distance from Mars to the Sun is 2 times 10 to the 8th kilometers. The average distance from Pluto to the Sun is about how many times as great as the average distance from Mars to the Sun? So we are starting with Pluto, and so Pluto is 6 times 10 to the 9th. The question asks how many times, which tells us it's a division problem. And we're dividing by Mars, which is 2 times 10 to the 8th. We start by dividing our numbers. 6 divided by 2 is going to give us 3. When we're dividing, we subtract our exponents. 9 minus 8 is going to give us 1. And then we can write it in standard form. We move the decimal 1 time, which means our final answer would be 30. Pluto is 30 times farther than Mars. Number 3, last year a business earned 4.1 times 10 to the $6 in income. This year the business earned 2.05 times 10 to the $8 in income, which best describes how this year's earnings compare to last year's earnings. So we are comparing this year. This year is 2.05 times 10 to the 8th. We want to compare them. Anytime we're comparing, it's a division problem. And we're comparing them to last year, which is 4.1 times 10 to the 6th. If we divide our numbers, 2.05 divided by 4.1, we end up with 0.5. When we're dividing, we subtract our exponents. 8 minus 6 would give us 2. We would move our decimal point 2 times to write it in standard form. 1, 2, filling that place value with a 0. And so our answer would be 50 times as much. Letter C is our correct answer. Number 4, write the following numbers in order from least to greatest. So you can choose if you would rather work with your numbers in standard form, in which case you're going to rewrite the top 2 numbers in standard form. Or you can make all of your numbers into scientific notation, in which case you're going to rewrite the bottom 2 numbers in scientific notation. I prefer to work in scientific notation, so I'm going to rewrite this problem as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times moving the decimal. And so I would get negative 2 times 10 to the negative 7th power. And if I did the same thing to the other number, I would move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So it would give me 7 times 10 to the negative 5th power. Now, when we are writing numbers in order from least to greatest, we want to compare both the whole number values as well as the negative and positive exponents. Our least number, our smallest number, is going to be negative 9 times 10 to the negative 3rd. Our second smallest number is negative 2 times 10 to the negative 7th. Now, we knew that those were lowest because their whole numbers are negative, meaning they're less than 0 if 0 was here in the middle. Now, the reason that negative 9 times 10 to the negative 3rd is smaller than negative 2 times 10 to the negative 7th has to do with the exponents. -3 is a smaller decimal than -7. For numbers 5 times 10 to the -6th and 7 times 10 to the -5th, we write them again in order from least to greatest. Our next smallest number is 5 times 10 to the -6th power, and 7 times 10 to the -5th power is our largest number. Number 5. Kara was using her calculator to solve a problem. The answer that displayed was 1.6e plus 12. She knows that she entered all of the numbers correctly, and why did the calculator give her the answer it did? What is the answer to Kara's problem? The calculator answered the problem that way. We're going to restate our question. Because it cannot display exponents. The letter E represents exponents. So the answer is 1.6 times 10 with an exponent of positive 12. Number 6. The length of a city block running north to south in New York City is about 5 times 10 to the -2nd miles. The distance from New York City to Mumbai, India is about 7.5 times 10 to the 3rd miles. The distance from New York City to Mumbai is about how many times the length of the New York City north-south block? So in this problem, we are comparing the New York City to Mumbai distance, which is 7.5 times 10 to the 3rd miles. It's asking us about how many times, which is a division problem, and we're comparing it to the block in New York City, which is 5 times 10 to the -2nd. We go ahead and start by dividing our decimal points. 7.5 divided by 5 is going to give us about 1.5. When we're dividing, we subtract the exponents. 3 minus -2 would give us 5, so that's times 10 to the 5th power. We move our decimal point 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, filling in those missing values with zeros to get our final answer of 150,000 times greater. So we can write out our answer. The distance from New York City to Mumbai is about 150,000 times greater than the length of a New York City block.